Hey, what's good? Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind Sports and Entertainment podcast. I'm the host, R.L. Woodson, also the host of Bite Down Boxing of that podcast. Wow. Another loss from Beeline against Izzo. And this one comes in a championship for the Big Ten, the conference tournament. And 65-60. Michigan State scoring like the last 10 points, I believe they mentioned on the telecast. And, basically they had guys that made plays. There's really no way to get around it. We're not, we, the Wolverines, we're just not we just shoot we just all jump shots. We're all finesse. Um, no real dogs on the court, to go out here and get a bucket late. And I think Michigan State is scrappier. Winston, Cassius Winston is a guy who, if he doesn't make the bucket, which you saw, he had two big layups, I believe, to keep it close. And then he had the two big finds to get the ball over to McQuaid, who had a phenomenal game and knocked down some big shots. But just you look at the last two or three possessions that that Michigan had, just terrible execution. The one time, I don't know if that was in the last three plays, but definitely one of the key plays was the wide open three that Xavier Simpson missed. And let's be honest, he's not the guy that we want. We don't want to have to count on Xavier to knock down a three at the buzzer or in key. I'll give him credit for taking the shot though. It was a wide open shot. It was a good look, but that's just not his game. And one thing that I didn't like, Matthews, being a Charles Matthews, being a senior, being a guy who went and dipped his toe in the water to be considered for the NBA last year, to see where he scored out or graded out as an NBA prospect, did very little today. Only 1 of 3 from the field, finished with 2 points. And we need his athleticism. He should be bringing some kind of physicality to the team. Poole is what is Poole, a sophomore, but he's more of a shooter, and he's not a great shooter off the bounce. I think I tip my cap to Brazdekis, pretty good and solid early on, but then towards the end, I don't think he did anything for like the last 7 or 8 minutes. He did finish with 19 points. I think he hit one key three-pointer down the stretch, maybe from that left side, in between the top and the wing. It was kind of in that in-between area. But coming down the stretch, and getting into March Madness, we're going to need more. Things are going to have to be ran a lot better spacing. Guys, Poole and Poole, if you can't get the shot off by yourself, we need a way, to have better plays ran, because the defense is going to step up. Space is going to be, things are going to be crowded. Teams are going to be fighting to cut down the net. So I don't care for the construction of the team in many ways. And it's not all, Beeline is a guy who I've come to respect, definitely with his success the last 6 or 7 years in the program. But it's just we never seem to have a really a dynamic wing player. We just got guys who catch and shoot, or 1 or 2 dribbles and shoot, but we just don't seem to have really creative perimeter players. And that's, anyway, that's going to be key, is who's going to fill up the dead minutes. Who's going to be the player that we can go to and break up, the 5 to 3, 5, 7 minute scoring droughts. Who's going to be the guy that can carry the team, and get either out athlete somebody, or get tough shots, get scrappy buckets. Who's going to do that? And right now, they're naming the selection show is on. So that's taking place. But and Xavier Simpson gives us the best that he can. He's coming along and adding new things to his game every season. He's a very solid player, but you see, Cassius Winston just has outplayed him. The last 2 or 3 head-to-head games, and I just Xavier taking nothing away from him. I'm just unless he's orchestrating the last play. I'm just not so sure he's the guy that can actually go out and hit big shots. He's not a big step back guy. He's not a he doesn't give you a lateral movement and shake, with his handle to get his jump shot off. He's not really a a mid-range shooter. So he's more or less, he either gets to the rim or he's taking 3-pointers. But that's the thing. Like I said, we don't really have any mid-range scorer, and we don't have athleticism. We're not displaying the athleticism to really get alley-oops and guys slashing to the basket and whatnot. So it's going to be tough, but we'll probably get a fairly decent seed. A damn good season, going 28-6, finishing 10th, ranked 10th in the country. We usually are a little bit more solid defensively, but it seems like Michigan State just has us figured out. Shout out to Kyle Arns, unfortunately having the bad injury where he came out in the air cast, and he's a guy that's from around the way, a little north of here. But I think he broke his leg his high school year, his senior year at high school. So he's a guy that's had some terrible setbacks, so the timing of those have been very unfortunate for him in his basketball career. But I'm not sure. I should know what year he is. I'm not a huge State fan. I don't follow them like that. But yeah, for Michigan State to be missing the guys that they've been missing, and we've still failed to beat them this year, it's disheartening. But anyway, we'll make it into the field and we'll see what that holds for us. A couple of good games or a couple of good weekends of good shooting could give them a chance to make some noise. A loss like this could, piss us off and get us a little bit more focused and, figure out a way. Like I said, somebody's going to have to be the man. And the rest of the team is going to have to rally around letting that man be the man. And if it's Brazdeikis or if Matthews wants, Matthews really erupted last year at this time, when we got into the tournament. So if he can return to the guy who was getting into the lane, getting some 6-footers, some 8-footers, pump faking, maybe getting layups and dunks, if he can become that guy and lead us for a couple of games of scoring, maybe around 15 to 17 points per game, maybe we win. Maybe the Sweet 16 is possible. But still a great season. Still have just a shot as any other good program in the country. From the Power 5 conferences and whatnot. So again, this is Wood just checking in on some college basketball. I'll probably come back and throw the link to the Pay Me No Mind. It might be the 5th quarter show, might be what it's called, but I'm doing a bracket for the podcast, and I'll put the link in the description or something if people want to get in there and submit a bracket and participate in the challenge. So again, let me get on off of here, man. I'm a little disappointed and having to lose one to Sparty in basketball, and then obviously with the disappointing loss at the end of the football season, just kind of takes the wind out of the sails just a little bit. But that's sports. Again, Wood, I'm out. 1.